Welcome to A Singleton of Smiles,
where your smile is your best asset. What's up, y'all? We've been on a very long hiatus, but man, it feels good to be back. And it feels even sweeter to be back as dentists.
So we have officially graduated.
Whoop, whoop.
So we are now Dr. and Dr. Singleton to you.
Okay,
Hence the shirt.
Hey, be humble.
Shut up.
Sit down.
I work for this, but it says nah, I'm the doctor. So that's why we're wearing this shirt.
We graduated, baby. We did it. I mean, the feeling was so surreal that day. We'll post pictures.
Uh-oh.
Hey, V.
Avery, say hi. Say hi. Can you say hi? Say hi. Hi, people. Okay, she's getting mad.
But that day was just so surreal to us. We've been working so hard to become dentists, to have our dreams come to fruition. It was just a very special moment for us, and I can't wait for all of you to experience that same feeling. And so now that we have graduated, we have officially checked out of school. We've completed the checkout process, and basically that just means that aside from all of your clinical requirements that you have to meet, you also have to make sure that you don't have any like outstanding balances, and you have to check out with the registrar, all that good stuff. So we've done all of that, and so now we've been cleared to officially receive our degrees. So that's awesome.
So David talked about some of the checking out, like things you have to do once you complete all your requirements. You have to check out with each department basically at the school. And yes,
and to caveat on that checkout process, to make things a lot easier for you guys, if you're watching this video as an underclassman in dental school, keep this in the back of your mind to be on top of your stuff ahead of time. So when I say that, I mean like in terms of like having all of your patient balances taken care of, any unapproved activity in Axiom or whatever computer software that you guys are using. Just kind of stay on top of this stuff as you're going through the process of dental school, versus allowing the things to compound, because it just makes things a lot more stressful at the end.
So some people, they aren't able to finish all of their requirements before graduation. And so how that would work is you would still graduate with your class. You would still walk on graduation day, but you would just have to come back after graduation to finish up whatever you're behind on.
Yeah, and in regards to that piece of having to return after dental school, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, at UDM, how many students have to return after graduation? And although I don't have those numbers on hand, I don't think that is necessarily relevant or a reflection of the school per se, because I mean those things can happen to anyone. Like Jessica and I both, we had completed our requirements on time, but then we were working on a bridge. Both of us were working on a separate bridge from my mom, and at one point we thought that we would have to return after graduation to deliver her bridge, both bridges. We thankfully ended up delivering them prior to graduation, but I say that to say that everyone's situation is unique, especially when you're dealing with patients. Some patients will cancel appointments, and then if that's the case, then you really don't have much of a say. So if patients can't pay, then that will dictate if they're able to be seen. So sometimes you just have to really understand that when you're working with the public, things are most likely not always going to go as planned.
Right, yeah. So some of our classmates, they did have to come back to finish up. Like the big things were crowns, and some people root canal, endo. Yes, babe. No, we're not home. So yeah, But okay, so once you come back, they have like, I don't know if all schools do this, but at UDM, they had 2 weeks after graduation where you could come back and finish up anything that you needed to finish. And if you needed to go beyond that, then you would have to start the end of the summer. For those wondering what happens if you can't finish up before the end of the summer term, then that's when, at least at UDM, they'll start making you pay tuition to start in the fall with the next class in the fall.
Yep. And if there's any words of advice that I can impart to 3rd and 4th year dental students as you guys are going through your clinical education, I would definitely say to be proactive. You know, a lot of times a lot of students even at our school will like to blame administration, faculty, but at the end of the day, those individuals can only do so much. So you kind of have to be proactive. And what I mean by that, there were often times at school for us where we get clinic lead days, which are basically like freebie days. But if you so choose, you can come in and you can bring patients in and you can get procedures done and work towards your requirements. Some people, you know, just take those days off and go home and do whatever. I always took advantage of those free clinic days to bring in patients. So things like that, staying on top of your patients, calling them to make sure that they're doing okay, building that rapport with them. So these are things that you can do to help yourself, because if a patient knows that you care about them, then they're more likely to agree to your treatment.
I definitely agree with what David has said.
And I didn't have to pay her to say that, so that's good. By the way, my braces are off.
Oh yeah, see? How about my retainers?
Yeah.
Feeling this off? Okay, so anyways, so they didn't really tell us, and I'm not sure if like all schools are like this, but our school, we were not prepared for what happens after graduation. You basically have to apply for your license. When you apply for your license, that's another fee on top of when you pay for the board exams that you take. So you have to pay for your board, then you have to pay when you apply for your license afterwards. So
depending on the state that you are seeking licensure from, it can get costly. And then not to mention, you have to also apply for a DA number and an MPI number.
And those are just so that you can write prescriptions. So you need those as well. So
that you can be official.
So if you're watching this before you graduated, then hopefully you can kind of get on top of that ahead of time instead of, you know, being in the position that we're in.
Yeah.
David just got new glasses.
These are Tom Ford's.
And they're actually glasses, but they turn into sunglasses.
Yeah, it's the coolest feature ever. And Jessica is jealous. So, yeah.
Okay, so anyways, we're getting ready for Officer Development School with the Navy. And that's the 5 weeks of training that you do before you are officially an officer in the military. And David just got his orders, which took forever to come. Hopefully you don't have the experience that we experienced with that.
This experience with the Navy, this transition to active duty so far has not been the best, but we're making the best of it. We've been in the military before, so we definitely know how the military is when it comes to dropping the ball on certain things, and so we just kind of roll with the punches and, you know, take it one day at a time. But make a long story short, I got my orders and I'm excited to go to Newport, Rhode Island to get this over with and, you know, start my career.
So once you get orders, then you can finally put in for the movers to come and pack up your house. And that's a separate process in and of itself. It's a lot. You have to go to the website move.mil and then put in your information. It's like an application that you put in. And then you speak with someone to tell them how much you expect to be moving in terms of like weight. And then they get you in touch with someone that'll set up the move for you. And it's all covered by the military when they move you. We don't have much going on right now. Obviously, once we get to Officer Development School and we experience that a little bit, we can do a video that's more in detail. And once we get to our residency, we can start talking about that as well. So far, people have just been reaching out to us to start getting things ready. So if you do have a military scholarship, just be prepared to like have a dean's letter sent over to them, request your transcripts to be sent, your board scores and all of that. Yeah, just some things to be on the lookout for when you get to this point. So we are doctors.
Yes, we are.
And
that was good.
So we are doctors.
Yes, we are.
And
that was good. I mean, it's crazy, but it's just we're still regular David and Jessica. So now we are in the process of getting ready to move from Detroit to California. And that process basically entails, it can be an overwhelming process, but I try not to make it that way. So basically the military will hire movers to come and completely pack up all of your belongings and ship them to the destination that you're going to, free of charge.
If there's any specific questions that you guys have, always just leave it in the comments. We always get back and answer those. I feel like this video is kind of fast, but I don't know if we like missed something that you were hoping we would say. If we did, yeah, just let us know. And if you want a video on something so that we can go more in depth about it, just write that in the comments as well and we can do that. Like I said, we'll do more videos once we experience more things. So once we go to ODS, we'll try to do a video while we're there. If not, we'll do it after. And once we get to our residency program, then we'll do a video about how that is going and what that's like. So yeah,
we're excited. Thanks for continuing to support us and all that good stuff, and we are always here for any advice that you guys may need. Kalia, I'm trying to be great here.
Wow, what's wrong? Alright, so thanks for watching. Like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to our channel if you aren't, and just comment below with any questions that you may have.